We've all been so worried about what the next iteration of Tomb Raider has in store for us. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is doing a TV series with Amazon. Amazon Games is doing the next game after purchasing the IP from Square Enix last year. But it's been announced Aspyr is doing remasters of the original three, and people are very happy with the fact that they kept Lara in all of her very sexy tomb raiding glory. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. Now, this was actually just recently announced at the Nintendo Direct. They decided to show it off very quickly, but we did see quite a lot of side-by-side comparisons, and boy, does it look good. It says Tomb Raider Remastered Original Trilogy officially announced. This is something that people have wanted for so long at this point, and it's so nice to see it finally happen, especially by people who are pretty skilled in terms of remasters. If you don't know, Aspyr actually did the Knights of the Old Republic remaster for the Nintendo Switch, and that went pretty well. There were not, any major issues with it, right? It got across what they had promised, it delivered what they had promised, and people were happy with that. But as it says, Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered has now been announced for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. The Tomb Raider series is without question one of the most popular and iconic video game series of all time, and so too is its leading lady, Lara Croft. Now, whenever I hear Lara Croft, I instantly get worried because of modern sensibilities. I mean, even look at how she was recently added to Call of Duty, and people were not very happy with her look. She didn't look bad, don't get me wrong. I mean, she didn't look terrible, but at the same time, she looked closer to the latest trilogy than the way she originally looked, and it did kind of upset people. I mean, she was clearly a little bit toned down, her chest was not as large as it previously was, and she just looked like perpetually angry. She just kind of had a resting bitch face, and people didn't really like that. They didn't capture the bombshell that they could have made her look. But it says the original Tomb Raider was released all the way back in '96 for the Sega Saturn, PlayStation, and MS-DOS. Since that time, Lara Croft's Indiana Jones-inspired adventures have continued to win the hearts of fans for decades, and also win the criticisms of snowflakes. Let's be honest, Lara Croft is a character that is very well loved, but she is also a very character who is always very heavily criticized because she's overly sexualized. At least that's what the snowflakes say. So whenever anyone is touching Tomb Raider and going to be, working with Lara Croft, we instantly get worried because you would expect, unfortunately, for her to be toned down. I mean, look at the latest trilogy, that series, while it had some good mechanics, it did modernize Tomb Raider in terms of the gameplay itself and the graphics, and it didn't look bad that way. They also modernized it by making Lara Croft very flat-chested and just not looking the way that she previously did. It's not the look people wanted for Lara. But luckily, we are not getting a modernized Lara in this. It says for quite some time, fans have been calling for the original Tomb Raider trilogy to be remastered for the modern era. Well, fans, your wish has been granted. At the Nintendo Direct, it was announced that the original Tomb Raider trilogy is being remastered in one glorious collection, and as it says, they will be handled by Aspyr, who previously ported the likes of KOTOR and its sequel to Nintendo Switch and mobile devices. Now, judging by its announcement trailer that has gone over very well with fans, may I add, the remastered games in the collection look to be very faithful to its source material, retaining those sweet, sweet polygons of glory, which is awesome to see. And if you don't know, you can actually switch between the original graphics and the new remastered graphics I mean, all of the character and environmental textures in this look very solid, but keep in mind that these are not remakes, okay? So they do not change any of the gameplay, they're not changing any of the, poor level design that has been criticized a little bit. They're not changing anything like that. In my opinion, these games do look pretty similar, or the new versions of the games, because again, keep in mind you can toggle to the original graphics. These new remastered graphics look very similar to the second trilogy with Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld, which I just recently live streamed all of those, but it looks to retain its clunky gameplay and awesome soundtrack, but I really wouldn't want it any other way. Updated controls would have given it a good edge, in my opinion. It would have been cool, but I would have rather have seen them leave it the way it is instead of remaking the whole thing and potentially censoring or changing Lara. I'd rather have original Lara with the old control scheme than a modernized Tomb Raider with updated controls. That's just my take. That's just my opinion. But people seem to be pretty freaking happy about this. It was posted on all of the accounts, an Xbox account, PlayStation, Nintendo. Here's just the PlayStation account. It's got over 1 million views. People are very happy. People are saying things like, couldn't get into these games the first time. The controls were horrible, but I'm gonna give it another go. Nice to see another set of remastered games. People sharing Lara memes, saying things like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing. And there are some people who are saying it's so hard jumping into these games compared to the modern ones, because again, keep in mind the controls are a little bit wonky. Don't get me wrong, I completely understand that, but I do think that it's going to be enough to get a lot of new people interested in this set of games that maybe they previously didn't play. And of course, if you really can't deal with these controls, play that second trilogy, Legend, Anniversary, Underworld, because those do remake the original games, but, they do have some additions. They look very good. Lara looks very good. The controls are updated. I would definitely recommend going for the middle trilogy instead of the newer trilogy that started in 2013, because that one, in my opinion, just is, it's not good. It's just not great. The first game was not terrible, but the games that followed just failed our girl Lara, at least in my opinion. And of course, it's really good to see this happen because we've all been very worried about Tomb Raider. If you didn't know, last year, Square Enix, of course, the Japanese publisher known best for Final Fantasy, said it has agreed to sell off its Western studios and IP to the acquisition-hungry Swedish holding company Embracer Group, including the Tomb Raider franchise, for just $300 million. So Tomb Raider did change hands last year, and we've all been, extremely worried. We've also heard that, Amazon Games is going to be doing a new, at least single game. I think that they're probably going to inevitably make it a trilogy, but Amazon Games is known for their unfortunate localization censorship. They've gotten a lot of Japanese and Korean games over the past year to year and a half, and when they've localized and been brought to the West, they've been censored by Amazon Game Studios. And to top that off, Amazon is also doing a Tomb Raider series with Phoebe Waller-Bridge being a lead writer and an executive producer. And of course, she has said several things about it, but she's even said that behind the scenes they're having the great boob debate. They don't know if they want to go with a woman who has a larger chest like Lara usually has, or a smaller chest, because it would be more realistic for Tomb Raider. So there's definitely a lot to worry about, but if you've never played these original games, I think now is the time. It's a great price at only $20 for a great set of titles, remasters that actually look faithful, that do not make any changes and take liberties, and I'm personally very happy to see this. Obviously, a lot of other people are very happy to see this, and I just hope that when they come out in February, they actually end up being everything that we could want out of these. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.